welcome to day 6 of the Forks Over Knives challenge. So I am making recipes today that are off of the Forks Over Knives website. The first one that I'm going to make right now, so today's really super busy. We are going to go to Preston's last cross-country meet this morning, which takes forever, and then it's an hour drive each way. So by the time we get done with that and get back, it's actually going to be after lunchtime, but that's okay. We'll eat lunch at that point. And then I would like to go to down into Dallas. There is a book sale, and I would like to go and pick up some books for the boys for birthdays and Christmases and that kind of stuff. So I need to do that, and that's going to, it takes forever to get down there as well. So anyways, need to have food ready. So I'm going to be making 2 separate recipes today. The first one is just called black beans recipe. And it's not a crock pot recipe, but I am turning it into a crock pot recipe because that's convenient for me. So I'll put a link in the description box below so you guys can go and look at this recipe and make it however it is that you would like to make it. Like it only takes like 5-10 minutes to make the recipe on the stove. So you really could make this really fast and enjoy a really good black bean recipe. There's not a ton of ingredients. Come on down. So there is my crock pot. So what it says is that you need 2, so I'm doubling this, so 4 cans of black beans, and you're not supposed to drain them. So I did not drain 2 of them. So these are the 2 that I did not drain. And then I did drain and rinse 2 of them and just added water back into the can. And these are the 2 that I put water in. I just figured that I really don't think that we needed that much salt into the recipe. So there we go, 4 cans of beans. And then you're also supposed to have 4 cloves of garlic for a single recipe. So I'm going to put some minced garlic in there, and I'm just going to put a big old spoonful in there. We like garlic in our house, so that will do. You're supposed to have a medium onion and red pepper that you have diced. I actually have that. I picked a very large pepper, and I only have one size of onion, to be honest with you. They're medium onions. They're not, usually we buy really big onions, but we got them, instead of getting them at Costco this time, we got them at the Asian grocery store, and so they're not quite as big. That's okay. Oh, I forgot to get the oregano out. Oh my goodness, throwing onions around. So one of the other ingredients is water or vegetable stock, and so I am choosing to use this particular vegetable stock. It's for 2 reasons. One, it's the only one that doesn't have oil in it from the Better Than Bouillon brand. It's very good, but that means, no oil. That's what we're trying for. And there was just a tiny little bit in the bottom, so I put some water in there that was hot so that I could mix it around. But this one also has 50% less sodium, so that's actually one of the other reasons. I mean, there's going to be plenty of flavor here with some of the spices, so you don't really need a ton of salt. It does call to add salt to the recipe too. I'm just going to skip that entirely. For one recipe, it calls for 3 teaspoons of cumin, and you guys know that I'm not actually really a huge cumin fan, so I am going to probably just add maybe 2 teaspoons total, which you're supposed to have 6. Maybe I'll just put in 3. I'll use half the amount. That sounds reasonable. Not a huge cumin fan though. There's that. You're also supposed to add half to 1 teaspoon of red vinegar. So, is it red wine? Yeah, red wine vinegar. So I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of this because I like a little bit of that flavor. And the last ingredient is oregano, and I forgot to get that out. So if you will give me just a second, I'm gonna go grab that and I'll be right back. Okay, so oregano, and this one is also 3 teaspoons, and I'm going to use the full amount, so 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon, so I'm just going to put in 2 tablespoons. And that's it, that's all she wrote. I'm going to put this on medium, no, low. There's 2 options, low and high. I'm going to put it on low, and then when we come home from lunch, we're going to eat, and then when we come home for supper time, I'm going to make another recipe to eat with this. All right, guys, so far today, this morning, we needed to get going like super quick, and I was busy and wasn't really getting things done in a timely fashion. So I literally took a can of organic pumpkin, dumped it in a bowl and warmed it up for 1 minute and 45 seconds, and then sprinkled raisins over the top. And I ate that in the vehicle while Anthony was driving to Preston's track meet, and it was good. It was really good. The pumpkin was just, it's not sweet on its own, it's just pumpkin flavor. But I didn't put cinnamon on it or anything, I just the way it was good to go. And then for lunch when we got home, I did have the bowl of beans, and we had Anthony had just picked some of the red peppers that he has growing out back. They're just sweet peppers. But anyway, so he had picked those, and so they've been on the counter, so I just stuck a bunch of them at the edge of each of our bowls. We ate those, and I had a few chopped up tomatoes with that, and it was very good. Just had a small bowl. I wasn't super hungry. And then when my mom came over, we left and we went to the book sale that they had and spent like 4 hours there. It was insane. So anyways, needless to say, super, super tired, but still very excited about making this recipe. So, whole grain corn muffins. Not a lot of ingredients going on here, so not too bad at all. So the one thing I did ahead of time, well, two things. This is a cup of soy milk, and it has 1.5 tablespoons of ground flaxseed in it. I did set that aside while I was getting the ingredients out so that it had a chance to do its thing, but it's not going to gel up like it normally would because there's not nearly enough flaxseed in there compared to the milk. So I don't know, whatever. That's what the recipe says. That's what I did. So let's go ahead and put stuff into our bowl and get this mixing up. So it just basically says to combine everything into a really big bowl. So the first thing that we need is 1/2 cup of applesauce, which this is 1/4 cup, but I got 1/4 cup out because of the maple syrup. So, oh, seriously, I thought there would easily be 1/2 cup in here. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, so 1/2 cup of applesauce, and then it calls for 1/2 cup of maple syrup. I'm not adding 1/2 cup of maple syrup. I get that we want it to be sweet, but 1/4 cup is going to be plenty because holy cow, that's a lot of sweetness going on. I don't need 1/2 cup of maple syrup, but should you want 1/2 cup, that's what the recipe calls for. And then you are supposed to add in your milk flax mix. And I need to grab a spoon. So this gets mixed together. All right, it says to use a large bowl. I think that I probably could have used a smaller bowl. This one's massive. Anywho, okay. Next we put in, so you are supposed to use 1 cup of oat flour. We don't keep oat flour in the house because you can just make your own super easy. As you can see, I did not grind this up super, super, super fine. I did not want it to be super, super fine. I would rather have it be slightly chunky. So there's my 1 cup of oat flour. And 1 cup of cornmeal, which this is the only one that I can find, so this is the one that I use. I've never checked at the Asian grocery store. I wonder if they have cornmeal there. Okay, that's probably a bad assumption. I was gonna say, I would think that this, nope, it's not. I was gonna say, I would think that this would be organic, but it's not. Lovely. Obviously, I need to look a little bit harder for a good cornmeal product. And then it's 1 teaspoon each of baking powder. And baking soda, which we just keep our baking soda in a little container. I obviously need to refill. And then it says to use 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which I'm not going to put in there. I don't think it's really that big of a deal. It should be just fine without it. And it says to mix this together, but to avoid over mixing, which I am not. I'm kind of the king of over mixing, to be honest with you. Unfortunately, I tend to do that, but whatever, it's okay. Okay, avoid over mixing, Heather. There we go. And then the last ingredient, you stir in 1 cup of corn. So the corn that we normally buy, because it's salt-free, they stopped carrying it organic at Kroger, which is really a bummer. However, I've got a couple cans of this left to use up, and then they started carrying the organic one again. I'm super excited. All right. 1 cup of corn. And then you just stir this in. Okay, over mixing. All right. Now we put it in some muffin cups and you cook it at 375 degrees for 20 minutes or until it comes out clean. So a toothpick comes out clean, obviously. I'm going to go and get this made and I will see you guys in just a little bit. So these muffins turned out great in terms of consistency. So I've got some beans and peppers, onions, all that yummy stuff right there. And look at how well this turned out. Isn't that neat? Like totally, I haven't tried it yet. So let's try it. So keep in mind, most of the time I'm not a super sweets kind of girl. So putting in half of the amount of maple syrup was perfect for me. However, somebody else might really want that extra quarter of a cup of maple syrup in there. That's very good. I like with the whole corn in there. It's very sweet. This is going to go, yeah, I definitely don't want that extra quarter cup of maple syrup in there, but if you like your cornbread a little bit sweeter, or you're serving it to kids, probably put in the extra quarter of a cup. Absolutely perfect for me the way that it is. I don't need any more sweetness than that. It's very good. I'm very excited. So this is a total keeper recipe. The black beans worked out great. The only thing is there's a ton of liquid in there. I probably would cut back on the liquid next time. I would definitely cut back on the liquid next time. And actually taking them out and then mashing them a little bit would actually make a really neat dish as well. If you wanted to put them more in like a tortilla shell or something like that, because they're way too gooey for any kind of a tortilla shell for sure. But it's gonna go great with these cornbread muffins. Yum. All right. Yay, food for today is done and I'm excited. Oh, exercise. Today is a weights day. I'm totally skipping it. There you go. This is me being not as good as I should be. I really should go and do some weights and I'm not going to. I'm exhausted and yeah, I don't feel like it. So I'm not going to. That's me keeping it real, guys. That's me being for real with you. I'm just not going to. So when I don't, I will tell you and I'm not going to. So anyways, I hope that you guys had a fantastic day and I will get back on the bandwagon with exercise again tomorrow.